Welcome to episode 42 of the Rebel Army podcast, the official podcast of Cork City Football Club. This week we look back on two first team fixtures and look forward to a trip to Talca Park. Yeah, back as always with Aaron Howie. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic, Stephen. How are you?
Are you sure you're absolutely fantastic?
Not a hint of sarcasm in there. I'm absolutely fantastic.
I suppose it was disappointing on Friday night. Is there any kind of merit in suggesting that we should get VAR into the League of Ireland at this stage?
People will tell you we just about have the streaming service and those cameras up and running. So I think adding more cameras into the mix will just cause confusion altogether.
I don't know, but it's
definitely needed.
It's starting to get a bit kind of mad. Well, look, they say these things come around and go in your favour at some stage, but 2 games in a row where, you know, things go against you.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you know, crazy, isn't it?
Well, to be honest, there were some of those decisions VAR shouldn't have been needed for. But anyway.
I know. But at least there could have been someone intervene in it. Like, okay, I suppose, look, call a spade, it was probably definitely at least one penalty, definite. But it looked like there was more.
Yeah, there was one definite one, and in today's game with today's rules, there was more.
There was more. Like, if you were to go by the rule book in today's world,
and what's deemed a handball,
long ago it
mightn't
have been, but nowadays it would be.
Do you know what popped into my head the other day? Do you remember there was a spell a couple of years back where they had extra officials behind the goal?
Oh yeah.
I remember we had them in the FA Cup. I don't know if they were ever in the league, but they were definitely in the cup. And obviously other leagues had them as well. Is that something we could look at? Do you know, to have someone potentially closer to the goalmouth action maybe? Because realistically VAR that's not happening. Like, look, I know the referee situation. This isn't an attack on the referee. This is more of a laugh at this point because it's a couple of days on. But naturally there's frustrations among everyone after Friday. But I think the main thing to stress there is the referee we had is actually he is a good referee. It was just one of those games, and that happens as well.
Just luck is going against us at the moment, but in many ways you might say, okay, has that cost us potentially at least 3 points in the last 2 games?
I think that game last Friday, we definitely should have won. The amount of chances, to be honest, the amount of chances we had anyway, we probably should have got another 1 or 2 goals. But
so that's
it would have been helped if we had a penalty, potentially 2 penalties on top of it. But yeah,
it's just, look, I suppose it's just frustrating and very frustrating for fans as well. Like, you know, like they're coming in, they're getting all excited at the start of a season, and like, do you know what? Sometimes if you're beaten well, like, you kind of have to accept it. But when you know your team is actually better than what it looks on the table, I think if you have be frustrating, you know,
if you have any sort of reason to feel hard done by, it's only natural you're going to feel hard done by, and you're going to complain about it, and that's natural. And
listen, there could be people outside, the FAI could be listening to this or whatever, or I don't know who's listening to this, but between that now and then the game being called off in Tala and stuff like that, there seems to be just a lot of stuff at the moment being piled on the club that, you know, potentially we could be in a lot better position than what we are. We are 7th in the league, is it?
7th now, yeah. I think we've got 5 points now, maybe.
Maybe I'm blinkered, but our performances so far, I don't think merit us being in 7th.
Not at all, no. And you go back to the Tala game, I'll be honest, I was thinking about the last 2 games, the Waterford game on the Monday and the Sligo game on the Friday. I'd forgotten nearly about the whole Tala situation.
I should have brought that up.
You've reminded me of that. But that's another game where we probably would have won that game. That's another 3 points, another 2 points then on Friday if we'd beaten them. And then we're at the other end of the table altogether.
Yeah, and then even the game against Galway at the start of the season, I suppose, no, that's nobody's fault, or like only probably our own or whatever, but like to concede a goal late in the first half, we were probably dominating that game as well.
I think the Galway game and the Sligo game are 2 examples of games that Sligo game, definitely more so games that we completely controlled and should have taken more from. But again, I'd much rather be here talking about how we've had good performances, but we've missed out on a point here or there, rather than saying we were played off the park again, we were battered, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like this, it's not a great situation to be in. It's only 5 games in.
That's it,
4 for us.
4 for us.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like
1-1, drew 2, lost 1. You know, like, so yeah. But for anyone listening, just in case you didn't get the score, it was 1-1. Like, but yeah,
it was 1-1. Probably Should have been maybe 2-1, 3-1.
Yeah, by the looks of it, it should have been, yeah.
John Mahon for Sligo, fantastic goalkeeping performance from centre-back with that save, to be fair to him. And this is the thing after that game. Nobody is coming out of it giving out about Sligo. Like, that's fine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you'll do anything you can to prevent a goal, be it using your hand, whatever. That's grand. That's part of the game. It's just...
It's nearly a natural instinct, really.
Exactly, yeah. And like, it's just frustrating, I suppose, when you see 2-3 handballs and you're like, oh, God, give us a chance.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was a red card a couple of minutes after that. But...
yeah, like, I mean...
It was just one of those games, really. There was a lot of talking points.
That tackle on Malik, like, that was... Like, I don't want to single anyone out, but, like, Jesus, like...
I think now, as far as I know, it was a young player came on for Sligo. I'd say he was just fired up and eager to get into the game. And I think if it happened in the middle of the pitch, yeah, it's a bad tackle. But I think it's the fact it was over next to the concrete and the advertising boards made it that bit more dangerous. So it probably, I don't think people would be talking about it as much if it was maybe 20 yards further in the pitch.
And how was he after it?
Malik, he's okay. Yeah, he's not. I don't think there's any...
There's nothing to worry about. Like,
yeah, I don't think there's a big injury there.
Because he has been very impressive since the start of the season.
He has. He's come flying out of the traps. Like, he's been brilliant. I know he was sort of helped off the pitch, and at full time he was he needed help walking across as well. But that was more just a really big impact on his leg rather than, you know, an actual muscle or bone injury or anything like that. I think it was just a sore tackle. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully he will be fine. Haven't heard anything if he's in the mix for Friday, but I'd imagine he is.
Yeah, because you don't want to lose him. Like, I know Cahill's coming back to fitness, like, and stuff like that, but
that'll be 4 big injuries. Yeah,
like,
since the matches have started, and that's not to mention the injuries we've already had. Like, Evan is out; he's close to coming back. Connor Drynan is out. Harry Nevin is out. So, the injury list is stacking up fairly quickly. So, we need to keep that to a minimum, and hopefully Malik isn't going to be joining that list.
Obviously, Tim was suspended the other night because of what happened in Waterford. Whatever discussion was on at the end
Some
of the
conversation,
match. But you caught up with Jamie after the match.
Yeah, we'll get his reaction now.
Give us your assessment of that.
Listen, I thought we were excellent from start to finish. I think over the whole they scored a decent goal actually. But apart from that, I thought we were played in the front foot. And listen, you look back at key moments in the game, the goal being disallowed. I still, right now, I've seen it 5 or 6 times and I still don't know why it's been disallowed. And you look at possibly 4 penalty decisions that probably went our way as well, like went against us, sorry. But you just can't fathom that, to be honest with you. We're looking for a wee bit of consistency from the referees, but for me, I don't understand why he's not seen any. Maybe 1 you can understand, but 2, 3, 4, it's beyond me, to be honest with you. Left frustrated here.
Would you think like the standard refereeing in general is poor? It needs to be better in the league.
Listen, I think they've got a hard job, especially when you're part time. Maybe they kind of don't know what the right financing and stuff like that. But listen, I don't want to be sitting here criticising referees, but we're just looking for consistency. That's the big thing for us. And I thought 3 or 4 of the decisions went against us. But you can maybe allow for 1, but 3 and 4 is just not good enough.
It's very frustrating, isn't it? Like, from your point of view, you felt like that, you know, Monday night again, things went against you, and again tonight.
Yeah, listen, Monday night's different. Obviously, when you go down to 10 men, I thought the boys were excellent right up until the 86th minute or something like that. They scored. But tonight, I thought, when you look at there's 6 players missing for the first team, and key players as well. And I think when you look at the squad tonight, I thought every one of them in the dressing room stood up and be counted for, which was a credit to every one of them in there. So, fair play to the boys. It could have been quite easy. They could have felt sorry for themselves tonight and thought, you know what, there's a lot of people missing and stuff. But listen, I thought every one of the players that played tonight, and the subs included, they had a good attitude in the warm-up and things like that as well. So, listen, great credit to the boys. We've got a really good group in there. So, listen, long may it continue.
Yeah, you went really after them in the closing quarter now there, and they just put bodies on the line, didn't they?
The hands in the line, I think. I don't think it were bodies. There were hands and all the rest of it. Like, the boy, my hand made a great save to his left-hand side as well. But listen, it's laughable, to be honest with you. I'm sitting here, I'm frustrated, laughing how we've not got a penalty, to be honest with you. But listen, that's part of football. We've just got to move on now. We've got a massive game on Friday night before the break.
I think Jamie was on the same wavelength as we've been at the start of this.
Yeah. Everyone's on that wavelength, it seems.
And obviously, look, this is not like ref watch or something where we're like going to be giving out about refs every week, but like sometimes there's going to be decisions that as a club we're going to be frustrated about. Like, and
it's like anything else that happens in a match, it's going to be spoken about. Like there's no witch hunt or over aggression or anything. It's talking about discussing what happened on the pitch on Friday night, and that has to be allowed as well. You know, if a player has a bad game, you'll say the player wasn't great.
Yeah, and maybe they need help, or I don't know. Like, I mean, there's obviously assistant referees on the pitch as well, and there's the fourth official. Like, surely there's more eyes watching, and I know it's hard to see in the middle of a box, like when there's a lot of action happening, like
a lot of bodies being thrown around.
It is hard. Like if you're in the stands and you're looking on, it's actually quite difficult to see. Like,
absolutely, and nobody's saying. They have an easy job, they should be getting right.
Yeah.
It's everyone appreciates it's a difficult job and it's a hard ask. It's just when your team, as you said, there's probably been 3 or 4 things over the last 2 weeks that have added up.
Yeah,
then you get that extra bit annoyed, and that's understandable as well.
Yeah, we just want a normal game for once. Like,
I know, yeah.
That's kind of what we're looking at. Like,
that'll never happen. Not even just in Cork City League of Ireland. That's just football. Like, there's always going to be something, even if. If a referee, you got every decision and everything went your way, there's going to be something else in the game you complain about. That's just natural. But yeah, it's just, as I said, when there's a couple of things over the space of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it gets to you.
And you can see with the fans online as well, they're frustrated as well.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd much rather see fans giving out about a referee than giving out about the club and the performance. So.
But no, I think overall, there's just a feeling I'm getting is people are quite happy with the way the team have been playing. That's what I'm saying. Like they're creating chances, and then it was fantastic to see Milan was in the team of the week. Considering he's only after coming in for his first start, like.
Yeah, he came on towards the end against Waterford when Freddie got sent off, and a very well-deserved inclusion in the team of the week. Yeah. I know we gave himself and Benny a shout out after the game just in terms of their performance. They were both phenomenal on Friday. Milan towards the end there, like driving forward, shooting from range, nearly got an absolute screamer. So that would have completely solidified himself into Cork City cult hero status. He'd have a statue outside Turner's Cross. But
Kit got a great goal too, actually.
Kit's goal was brilliant as well, yeah. And it was, when he got it, it was kind of at that time where it was very badly needed. So it was a really good goal from that point of view.
So the new signings have made a big impact this year so far. I think there's always that worried when new signings come in that it takes them a while to adjust to the game.
You always hear that, don't you? Yeah. Get up to speed with the League of Ireland. If you ever listen
to League of Ireland commentators around, like, it doesn't matter whether it's Off the Ball or 2FM or RT Radio 1, they always say it takes a while to get adjusted to the game. I'm not sure about bringing guys in from overseas.
Gel.
Yeah.
It takes time to gel. That's like, the word, yeah.
You'd swear that like you have to be playing in the League of Ireland for years to know the game or something, but our lads seem to be definitely gelling, fast.
Yeah, and there's players, I remember last year we spoke about, how Cahill was the kind of player that got you on the edge of your seat watching it. There's other players like that. I know Milan, towards the end of the game, people were bouncing out of the seats. Malik has started really brightly. Like, we go back to that Galway game, the chance there 7 seconds in, the whole of Turner's Cross on the feet. Like, there are players that get you excited there. And it's not just one or two. There's a lot of players, and there's some of those on the bench as well. Young players. Harvey's done very well when he's done very
well. Yeah, and considering like he's only after signing a professional contract this year. Like, I mean, he's really pushing on. And then, not to mention, is it Rory was the fastest player or something like that in the country or something? Was it?
No, he's the fastest player. That was the highest speed a City players hit so far.
Player.
So now it could be. I don't have the data for the other teams.
34.5.
34.5 kilometers an hour. Yeah, that was actually in the Bows game. So that was the previous week.
Yeah. Where'd you get them stats from?
Damien, our head of athletic development. He loves that title. He sends me on speeds, touch maps, heat maps, stuff like that.
But how are they able to do that?
Those magic GPS vests, I think they have track
those,
everything.
Like,
yeah,
the stat sports type of thing or whatever.
I think something like that. Yeah, all I know is I get a WhatsApp from Damien anyway with any stat he finds interesting that he thinks I'll find interesting. So shout out to Damien Coleman. I know he's an avid listener of the pod as well, so he'll be delighted with his shout out.
And it's brilliant though. Like, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I'm fascinated with stuff like that. Like,
yeah, it's something I've kind of wanted to do on our socials for years. Like, you'd see it always. You'd say now the Premier League, La Liga, heat maps, Champions League touch maps, stuff like that.
Yeah, where does somebody spend their time on the pitch or whatever?
Exactly,
like,
the combined distance ran by a team over 90 minutes, stuff like that. Not that I love the data, I just love being able to share that stuff.
But the
with fan base,
visualization of it is brilliant, though. If you can kind of show someone's heat map on a pitch, it just shows the work like that's put in.
And even the touch map last year, I know we did a touch map, I think, for Greg, and that went on social media after, I think it was Athlone away. And I know there's a lot of manual work in that for Damien as well, in terms of he gets a map of where he was on the pitch and he has to work out where the touches were, all that kind of thing. So there is a bit of work in it, but there's always a good reaction when that stuff goes up. And we try to vary it. We've had touch maps. I think Damien is working on a heat map for Milan. We had the combined total distance, we had the highest speed. So there's no point just putting out the highest speed every week. You know, vary it a little bit.
Speed isn't everything. Well, obviously as a forward it's very important, but like there's other attributes to the game.
Exactly, and things that people find interesting, something that I might not find interesting, the rest of the city audience might find interesting. So
we probably don't have the technology in terms of speed of the ball and stuff like that, do we?
Probably not, I'd say,
because that's more rely on camera work, and that's distance, and there's a load of technology involved.
We're going back to all the extra cameras we need here now. If we had that, we'd have VAR as well, and we'd be sorted.
I think there's other things that need investment before that.
Definitely, yeah. But we'll get there, and when we do get there, I'll be putting them on the social media. So
I think it's brilliant, like to hear things like Damien there now, and I think it's something that we brought up before is there's other people in the club that they have other roles that sometimes go under the radar a bit.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people. Damien, actually, to be fair, because I've spoken at length to Damien about stuff like this and that stuff, he'd actually be a good guy to get in here and talk about that kind of stuff. So
well, if he's listening, you have to.
And now that I've said that, he's probably going to be downstairs waiting to be brought up by the time we get down. But no, there is, and there's a lot of people there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that people don't, not that they don't appreciate it, but they don't see it, they don't know what's happening. So you kind of, until there's a bit of a spotlight shined on it, they won't know what's happening. So yeah, stuff like that I always find interesting. I know other people find it interesting. So
speaking of someone behind the scenes that has been on the podcast below, I think Mick Ring shot the headlines this week because he's missing his balls.
People are, He's been busy. There's it's something we've noticed, to be fair, the first couple of games at Turner's Cross. There's the new multi-ball system, which is great in terms of getting the game back on when the ball goes out of play, that it's much faster. But
so this is when you put a ball on a cone, isn't it? And then
so there's balls on the cones.
Leagues across Europe now as well,
There's balls on the cones around the perimeter of the pitch, and when a ball goes out of play, rather than a ball boy getting the ball and giving it to the player takes the ball off the cone,
and someone else goes away and gets the
ball boy gets the ball and puts it back, replaces the ball on the cone, basically. But the issue with that is balls are going missing, because before, I think Mick said it in an interview somewhere, I think, if Rory Keating took a shot and he misses and it goes into the shed, goalkeeper's standing there waiting for the ball to be thrown down, whereas now goalkeeper grabs the replacement ball, whoever's caught the ball in the shed can keep it, potentially run away with it, which those balls are expensive. And if a few of those are going missing, they add up. I think there was 8 balls went missing after the first game.
Whoa, that's a lot of balls.
Some again. I think it was 8 again last week after one of those games. But not only that, because there's balls just sitting on cones, unfortunately, I have seen people just take them because they can reach them from where they are. That's just wrong. Like, it's frustrating.
They're not free. It's not like
they're not. Yeah.
It's not like somebody comes along and gives you a load of free balls or something like that at the start of the season. It just doesn't work like that. And most people are probably involved in schoolboy football or schoolgirls or whatever, and they know
the situation.
They know the situation because every coach usually is responsible for a load of balls at the end of the game. They have to put them back into the bag. And it's the same with a football club like Cork City. Like.
And look, this isn't me saying now 8 balls, 8 missing here. There hasn't been 8 balls stolen like that. It's just that's 1 or 2 people who've nicked a ball. Shouldn't be going on. Don't do it, basically.
Don't do it.
Again, a very, very small percentage. Not even a.
I know.
This isn't being like, the fans are out. Like, it's not that. It's just a case of there's 1 or 2. Don't do that, please.
It's probably taking advantage of a new system. Like when you think of long ago, like you could be waiting ages for the match to restart. The likes of Finbar O'Shea, and some fans remember Finbar from years ago, and Finbar would be up on top of the roof and all that, on top trying to get a ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They'd be climbing up the ladders and be trying to get the balls and stuff like that.
How many times do you remember where a shot would go into the shed and there's some, I don't know, Shamrock goalkeeper or whoever standing down there looking at the shed while the ball is being thrown around to be honest,
we've all probably been there.
I've done it myself.
It's great fun back in the day.
But it's basically to prevent that. But from talking to people at other clubs, everyone is losing balls. Like they're going missing left, right, and centre because, as I said, there's less urgency to get them back when they go out of play. So,
although at the Bows game, the ball came towards me into the Donny Ford, and of course I forgot I had a coffee in my hand.
Oh God!
But I was protecting the people behind. Well, that's what my view was. So I went to punch it. I did punch it, but I forgot that, of course, one movement.
The coffee going.
Went everywhere.
Oh God! Who hit it? Do you remember? Was it a Bows player? You can blame Bows anyway.
No, I think it was one of our own.
No, we blame Bows. We blame Bows.
You forget that actually it's picking up pace, so you think it's going to be nice and light when it
not
comes. But you
at
have
all.
to put force behind it.
We've had one or two hairy moments where there's a clearance and it's coming up towards the TV gantry.
Yeah.
Those windows are open, and the last thing I want now is whatever about keeping things safe up there, but a ball bouncing around in there and walloping a laptop or something.
You forget about things like that. Like,
yeah.
I was telling someone a story when I was younger. I was in the shed with one of my friends, and he might be listening now because he's a big City fan, Jack. And so I think we were playing St. Pat's, and there was a free kick taken by one of the Pats players, went over the crossbar, hit him straight onto the face and broke his glasses.
Oh, stop. I have seen a few of those happen, actually.
So it does happen.
It does happen,
You know?
It definitely does happen. And even I know people who were at their first City game, that came to the cross for the first time ever last week, sat behind the goal, and they were like, could I get hit here? I was like, well, yeah. I was like, if the ball's down this end, just pay a little bit more attention, be alert kind of thing.
Yeah.
Thankfully, they weren't hit. I did hear a funny story of someone, and I know they'll be listening to this as well, but I think a player ran past her, the ball bounced on a certain spot, and a big clump of grass came up and hit her in the side of the head, a big mud stain across the face. So I won't name any names, but I know if they're listening to this, they'll hear that, and
actually, it would be
that'll
a great
get a couple
one.
of giggles.
If anyone has funny stories like that, send them in to us. We could share them. If there's a moment from the cross over the years.
Yeah, there's
like that.
Everyone will have one, because I've seen, I don't know how many stories I have that I don't even know if I can tell some of them on here. But
there is kind of funny things have happened. Like
my first reaction when I heard that story about the mud was, who was near any cameras? Like, surely we've got footage of that, because it was just hilarious. Whatever about thinking you get a slap of a ball, a big clump of grass coming towards your face is a different story. But stuff like that's class. If you do have stories like that, you know where to find us. Send that in. We'll keep you anonymous if you need us to keep you anonymous for the embarrassment. But.
Oh yeah, definitely. Speaking of first visits, I actually saw a lovely post on LinkedIn the other day. Somebody who I know well, Ernest Cantillon, and he brought us two boys to a match for the first time, and the experience, he was actually thinking it wouldn't be as good as it was, and he kind of talked about how welcoming it was for the kids, how kind of he was talking about that there was loads of food stalls, there was no big queues and stuff like that, and sometimes we probably take that for granted, actually.
See, that's the thing, and we're used to it. We're there all the time. Everyone that goes to the cross has their routine, but it's when someone comes for the first time and you never really hear, I went to the cross, I didn't like that, I'm not going back. It seems everyone that comes loves it and wants to come back again, and that's a great reflection on the City fans, and first and foremost, because the atmosphere is what hooks people in and makes people want to stay. I suppose the football side of it is just as important as the atmosphere, but people do generally seem to really enjoy themselves. I did see that post.
And he said what he liked about it as well is the fact that there was no allocated seating, so that he saw people move around, and if someone saw someone that they knew, that they could sit next to them. And like he thought that was nice, whereas he said he's gone to other games and other sports and it's quite restricted. You have to sit here. You know what I mean? So,
you can come along. I know there was someone coming over from the States, actually, from LA a couple of weeks back, for the Bulls game, I think, he got on to me about, they were looking for 5 seats together, and I was like, just get 5 tickets, like literally wherever you want to go. Yeah, you can go. And they were kind of almost taken aback by that, and they were like, what if it's a sellout? And I was like, yeah, you just kind of just
make sure you come in a bit early.
Yeah, but they were like, if all the tickets are sold, can anyone sit wherever they want? I was like, yeah, like you just find a seat and go there. And that's again something it's normal for us. Do you know what I mean?
It is. It's a bit novel, I suppose, in many ways for people. But
which we'd never, you never even think of. If someone was like, oh, really, we can sit everywhere, you're kind of like, yeah, that's Turner's Cross, that's Cork's, that's how it's always been. Do you know what I mean? So, little quirk of Turner's Cross, I suppose, that people seem to enjoy.
Yeah, it's just it was an interesting observation, and I just thought it was refreshing to see someone that hadn't been with their kids before to kind of put that up. And he even admitted himself that he'd be more likely to probably be across the road in Musgrave Park, probably watching.
And there was a match there at the same time.
And it was
well.
so he went. He came to the cross instead with his kids, and and then I saw one or two other people commenting underneath saying they were thinking about it but were afraid. So it was interesting again, like they were afraid that maybe it wouldn't be suitable for the kids or something, but it's actually
suitable for everybody.
It's suitable because there's like, for those listening, like you all know, like the different stands for different age profiles, even like you know what I mean?
If you want the big, loud, boisterous atmosphere, there's the Shed. If you want it more laid back, go to the Donny Ford or the Derry Nan, and then there's obviously the family enclosure as well.
Yeah. And then if you kind of want a bit of space to yourself, you probably go up to the St. Anne's.
Exactly, yeah. The St. Anne's always seems to be like sparse, which always blows my mind because it's like
probably further away. They couldn't be bothered.
People come in, they're like, they see how far away, and they're like, oh God. But I think,
and it's a great view from the top of the. I love the view from up there.
I remember the first couple of games. I went to years and years ago before there was a roof on the St. Anne's. We used to always go to the St. Anne's. Yeah. So maybe it's just because my introduction to it was there.
Yeah.
I always like the St. Anne's, and I think
there's less of a queue for the toilets and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. There's less queues for everything. Yeah. So I've always had a soft spot for the St. Anne's, but yeah, I just think there's loads of potential with it. Like it's the blocks; those blocks are huge. If you filled that with people and flags and stuff, it would look class. But people do, as you said, people have their spots.
They have their spots, you know, and that's just
another quirk of the League of Ireland. Really,
it is, and people kind of know they're the same people, even though they're not. It's not allocated. Bar a couple of people who have their seat reserved or whatever, but most people,
those reserved sections, like
most people are just kind of they meet the same people there every week, and
they might spot a buddy 10 minutes in, and they'll say, "Come up to you at half time," that kind of thing. That always happens.
You know, it's cool. Besides the men, the women kicked off last weekend, but it wasn't a great result.
Wasn't a great result, but I think performance-wise, the result doesn't really tell the story at all. As you say, they finally kicked off. Finally, it's felt like a very long off season for the women's this year. I don't know, it's not any longer than usual, but it's felt longer. It feels like the men's team have been back ages.
Yeah, but I suppose their season kind of finished before the men's as well, didn't it?
Yeah, it's much shorter. There's only two like you play each team twice rather than 4 times in the men's. So, it is different in that regard. But it was a trip to Greenogue on Saturday, Peamount United, which has typically been a difficult place to go. We spoke about that the last couple of weeks. There's been difficult results up there the last couple of years, but 2-0 it finished. It was 2 early enough goals, I think 10 minutes and 15 minutes, I suppose, bar that 5-minute spell. The other 85 minutes we matched them, if not more.
Good to hear.
And we, I think, definitely deserved at least a point out of it. Christina Dring had a chance cleared off the line early on. Ciara Mack had a close range volley saved, which, to be honest, I think Amanda Budden, who's funnily enough an ex-City keeper, is playing with Peamount now. If she wasn't in goal for Peamount, City probably would have had 3 or 4 goals. Like, she was phenomenal. But plenty of chances, should have had something. And even towards the end, Davine Donnelly had a chance that just went wide, that if that was on target again, Amanda probably would have saved it with the kind of game she was having. But if she wasn't there, different story again. But I did speak to Frank afterwards. He was somewhat happy with it, disappointed with the result, as you can imagine, but definitely pleased with the performance and looking ahead to next Saturday as well.
Frank, first game of the season has ended in defeat in Dublin, 2 early goals, but I suppose you're disappointed, but there's still plenty to be encouraged by in that performance.
Yeah, a huge amount to be encouraged by, really, Aaron. I think the first 15 minutes, it was the start of the season. I think we got caught in a set piece, which we practiced on defending because we knew that's what they do with set pieces, and a breakaway goal where we're actually attacking with a free kick and then ending up on the counter-attack, conceding the second. So that was disappointed in the first 15 minutes. But after that, I think we matched them in every department. I really do. Amanda Budden in the first half made an absolutely unbelievable save to keep it at 2-0. And I think we went in at half-time quite confident that we could get back into the game. I think the second half was very, very even. I'm not sure how many shots on target they had in the second half, but we had a good few more. And again, once again in the 85th minute, Amanda Budden brings off a fantastic save to keep them at 2-0 and win the game. So I am disappointed. I think the intensity and the hard work from the group was excellent. The pressing was excellent. The closing down was excellent. The competing was excellent. I think I've got a good group here.
And based on that desire, I suppose it's the excitement now to get back to Turner's Cross and do that in front of Cork City fans in the first
100%.
home game of the season.
I'm really looking forward to the first home game now, because I think we can take some momentum from today. We'll correct and execute what we didn't do well, and then we'll come back stronger for next week against Sligo. Absolutely looking forward to it. And to be home in the home of football in Cork, back in Turner's Cross is where we want to be. We want to make it a fortress this year. We really do.
And just on the debuts today, Fianna Bradley is obviously back at the club. Catherine Fitzgerald made her debut as well. Impressed with how they did?
Very impressed with them. I think Fee played really, really well, both defensively and in attack. I think she caused them lots of problems and did her job when she needed to defend. It's great to see Catherine in with us. I think she's learning the game. You know, she's a very young player and will learn more and more working with really good players. I think it's going to bring her on, and it was great for her to make her debut with us today.
And just a quick word on Eva Mangan. You've probably only worked with her a short time, but it's her 100th appearance for the club. Hopefully plenty more to come as well to follow that.
Absolutely. We're delighted for Eva to make her 100th appearance today. She's a top quality player. You know, she's in the Irish senior setup. We were delighted to sign her back in. We're delighted to have her in the squad, and I congratulate her because it's a fantastic occasion to make your 100th appearance with this club.
I know, such a young player, but she's probably one of the senior players now with those appearances.
Absolutely. She's one of our senior players, even though she's still only 20, I believe. Yeah. But she's got a great future ahead of her in the game for sure.
Yeah, by the sounds of that, he was encouraged by the performance, probably a bit disappointed they didn't get in out of it, I'd imagine.
Yeah, from a manager's point of view, even if you have a great performance, if you lose the game, it counts for nothing. Do you know what I mean? But I think he knows himself that was a very, as you said, encouraging performance. And mentioned there as well, the first home game is next Saturday at the Cross, which is against Sligo Rovers. So
Sligo again.
Sligo again, yeah. That poor Sligo bus driver is going to be sick of the place, I'd say. But
a bit of red.
He'll be bitter, all right. But I'll be honest now, if that performance that we had against Peamount, if we can replicate that at home on Saturday, there's absolutely no reason we can't beat Sligo Rovers. So that'll be a fantastic start.
What time is kickoff?
Kickoff's at 5. You might get a chance to see some of the new faces and returning faces who made their debuts or second debuts for City in Peamount. Obviously, Fianna Bradley is back. Catherine Fitzgerald and Eva Loftus. Eva didn't come on against Peamount, but she was a former Peamount player as well. So might get a chance to see the two of them at Turner's Cross. Lauren Homan might feature. She didn't come on against Peamount. So yeah, exciting all round. Can't wait to be back at a home game for the women's Premier Division as well. So
yeah, again, it's been ages.
It feels like it's been so long, yeah.
What was it? Probably nearly, was it the start of October, end of September nearly?
Well, the last home game of last season was a bit of a mess. It was in October, I think. It had been moved to...
Oh, that's right.
Can't remember if there was a weather warning, but there was definitely ridiculously bad weather. It had been moved to Cove. It was going to be in St. Coleman's Park.
And then it was moved again, wasn't it?
Then, very short notice, St. Coleman's Park was okay, but the area around St. Coleman's Park wasn't. So it had to be moved again to Leaside.
Which is in Little Island.
Yeah, and the only reason I remember all this is because we were obviously trying to... All the games are streamed, so we were trying to coordinate a stream from St. Coleman's Park, and we had just got everything in place for that when I found out it was moving to Leaside, where we couldn't stream from, especially with how the weather was. So I'm still PTSD from that day.
Traumatized.
Trying to get everything running, but that was down in Leaside. Funnily enough, against Sligo Rovers, which we lost. And yeah, that was the last game. That was October. It's been what feels like a very long slog to get to here.
Yeah.
But yeah, here we are.
It's hard for the players too, having that much of an off season. I know, look, it's the nature of the league, but there's an extra 2 games though this season, isn't there?
Yeah, because Waterford have joined. But like even last year, and I know I spoke to Danny Murphy about it a lot during the season in interviews. Like between internationals, the Cup, the All Ireland Cup, in which if you get knocked out of the All Ireland Cup or the FAI Cup, you've got all these breaks. There's the international breaks. There's the idle week because there was an odd number of teams. So. Like it's so hard to get a consistent run going.
Yeah.
But as you said, there's another team this year. So the idle week, the week off is gone. So that's 2 less breaks to have anyway. So
thanks for the God.
Yeah. So hopefully now.
Last year there was decent enough crowds. I think at the start of the season in particular, I think it was a good crowd.
Yeah, and that's the main thing. As always, again, we're calling for a big crowd. Match tickets are on sale from Ticketco, so ccfc.ie/tickets. You can get your season ticket as well if you haven't, if you want to go it that way.
And what prices are the season tickets for
the season tickets are for adults it's €90, juveniles are 45, and it's the same for seniors then, and obviously under 12s are free as they have been.
So under 12s are free to get into the match.
Yeah.
And how much is it for an adult to get into?
A tenner.
A tenner.
Tenner is the entry. But anyone that buys a season ticket, whether you have one already or where you purchase one after this, will be entered into a draw. We've got a home jersey signed by Denise O'Sullivan. So
excellent.
Nice little prize there. A bit of an incentive to get your women's Premier Division season ticket before Saturday. Well, whenever you get it, you're entered into the draw. But yeah, get on that.
Cork's very own superstar in the Irish team and still doing really well in the US.
Yeah, and I
as
saw
well.
on Instagram actually yesterday she got engaged, so congratulations
to her. Yeah. And you mentioned the FAI Cup there as well. Congratulations to the two Cork sides that are after getting to the final of the FAI Intermediate Cup as well. Cork is dominating soccer a bit at the moment.
I didn't even see the final. Who's in it?
Ringmahon and College Corinthians. There
Brilliant,
was 3 teams in the semi-final
from Cork. Who was the other one?
So Douglas Hall.
Okay.
So congrats to the two sides, and may the best team win. I think they'll obviously play the final in Turner's Cross. I think it's Easter Sunday or something.
How funny would it be if they don't? Like how typical that they make them travel to Donegal,
Galway,
up to Finn Park. But no, that's brilliant to see, and that'll be another big football occasion, hopefully on these sides. So, congratulations to those.
There's a lot of rumours doing the rounds about, this A-League is, I think, or the third tier of
the National League.
The National League, yeah. There's a lot of rumours doing around. Because I see Mayo have said that they're putting in a team. I think Kildare or something.
Yeah, there's some clubs. Club Kildare have said it as well, but there's some clubs have gone public. I think I saw. Don't remember who put it up. I'm thinking it might have been Dan McDonald. That might be wrong. League of Ireland journalist basically put up that I think it was 67 teams have expressed interest.
What? Yeah.
So obviously some of those might just be looking for more information rather than saying we'll do it. But,
some have gone very public to
Some teams have put out statements saying we've looked into it. Others will keep their cards close to their chest, and that's fine as well. But I would be very
Cork team in there.
I'd be very interested to see who from Cork applies or who from Munster at least.
Because as I said, like with 2 in the Intermediate Cup final, but they have a history. I mean, Rockmount and Avondale and all them over the years have won it a lot as well. Cork teams have done very well at non-league in this country. Dublin have obviously a lot more teams, but I'm just wondering, as a kind of a proper non-league...
you'd imagine it'll be a lot of Leinster Senior League clubs, because there's a lot of those who have probably been itching to make the step
especially
up for years.
From counties that don't have a team at the moment. It's something that comes up a lot of conversation actually in the League of Ireland, that there's some people find it hard to get into the league because where they live, maybe there's no team. Let's say if you're in Offaly or somewhere like that, there's no team or Laois or something. Who are you going to follow?
Yeah, Cork City.
Maybe Athlone or something, but
realistically,
but you're still a good bit away. So that's the challenge. So it would be nice to see a couple of teams from maybe counties that aren't represented, like Clare or...
Exactly. I'd love to have, if you look at, I suppose, the GA, obviously very different, but every county is there. You'd love to have at least one from every county.
It would be brilliant if there was.
Or how funny would it be if the rule was changed to one from every county and all the dubs had to merge? Wouldn't that be hilarious? Imagine watching the chaos unfold up there.
Yeah. I'm not sure Cove fans listening to this would...
Sure, Cove is its own separate place anyway.
I was down there.
I know, yeah. I've been down there in a while now, actually.
Although you missed the match the other night, I think they had a good win from what I can gather.
They had a load of goals, apparently, yeah. All of our ex-players are scoring.
Yeah, they're flying,
so Cove City, or Cork, whatever they're called, Cork Ramblers. They did well down there. That's a joke before anybody gets offended.
Yeah, well, you never know. Maybe in the FAI Cup, we might get an El Clasico Cork again.
Well, I tell you what, we were calling it El Clasico Cork before. My God, is that name justified now?
Yeah. It's all our old players down there. But I'm delighted, you know what? And I see Barry Coffey got a goal or something, didn't he?
He got 2, I think.
Yeah, so fair play to him.
Absolutely.
Because, again, he was a guest here, so... You know what?
And again, look...
You want them all to do well,
Cove Ramblers doing well is good for Cork. And I mean Cork City, not us. I don't call us Cork. I'm not one of them.
But for Cork football...
absolutely.
As in soccer, I mean... That's what I'm saying with the 2 of those, with Corinthians and Ringmahon getting to the finals. It's all good because, Harvey joined from Corinthians, for example, and he didn't come through our youth system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sometimes people all of a sudden are just spotted and there's a new player comes into the mix.
Yeah, but it's brilliant, as you said. We have these El Clasico Corks and they're derbies, but they are and they aren't because everyone's kind of friendly anyway. If Cove get to, Premier Division level and there's an actual real rivalry forms there, that's good for selling tickets. That's good for storylines. That's kind of what you want.
When Cove played Derry there in the final of the League Cup years ago, there was loads of City fans supporting.
Yeah, but sure, when Cove used to play on Saturdays, Cove fans would go to the Cross on a Friday and City fans would go to Cove on a Saturday.
I know loads of people who follow board. Even people who were involved in the committee of Cove were season ticket holders. We won't mention names.
Say none, allegedly. But that kind of proves it. There is they're local rivals or whatever, but there is not that real...
No.
There's no bite or hatred there as there is with some other clubs.
Not like what the Dubs hate each other anyway. But,
They hate us too, by the looks of it, which is great. We want that.
Yeah.
The Dubs, that is.
Speaking of Dubs, we're off to Dublin this weekend.
Hopefully we get a game this time.
Yeah,
There might
after
be a
the
ball
last
kicked.
Fiasco.
I like that word. We never called it a fiasco.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, that's great. Well, that's perfect for it.
Yeah.
Allegedly. But yeah, Talca Park. They've saved it, and
Mr.
then we have to
Duff.
go back. Damien Duff Shelburne. They're not called Shelburne anymore. Apparently, it's every article you
Everything
see.
is Damien
Duff Shelburne.
Yeah. And like God only knows. Look, he's good for the league in terms of he's always likely to say something that gets picked up by the media.
Yeah, I've seen the numbers that his articles do. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like it's. But again, to be fair, brilliant for the league. Fantastic.
Look, it's attention. And fair play to them. Like last year, like no one expected them to win the league last year, and they did. So, but it's always hard to regain it. Like I mean, and they'll have competition this year.
Yeah, I think I've spoken to a couple of Shell fans now where they're not overly confident of retaining it. So
yeah, no, it's going to be a tricky one, and
that's the job. We don't
they've
want
had
to
a
see
couple
them.
of slip ups already. Like
We don't want to see them retain it anyway. From a Cork City point of view, there's obviously a big rivalry there. But they lost last week at home as well to Drogheda.
Yeah,
League leaders Drogheda.
Like who would have expected that?
I know, yeah.
So it just goes to show the kind of chaos that the league brings at the start of the season. So it can go anywhere at the start. It settles down eventually. But
do you know what though? It's not even just like if you look at how the league was last year, there was 4 or 5 teams in the title race up right till the very end. So it's a much tighter league overall than it was last time we were here when we ended up falling away in 2023. It's very different now. So even if you look at where we are now, we're 7th, which isn't it's okay. Like it's not fantastic, but again, you're 1 or 2 wins away from being somewhere completely different. So
that's what you're saying. If we got some of those points, but look, it'll be a tricky fixture at the weekend. But I'm sure the lads will be up for it because then there's a break after that. There's not a game then for 2 weeks, isn't there?
Yeah, next game after this is I think it's international break afterwards, and then Drogheda at home. League leaders. Will they be league leaders by then? We don't know.
That'll be the interesting thing, and that'll be on TV as well.
That's on TV as well on the 28th.
No, you should be coming to the cross watching it and we watching on the TV. But
yeah, don't watch it on TV. Never mind, we'll ask for it to not be televised.
Unless
Forget
obviously
that.
you're not in Cork, because we do have this somewhere else. But
no. Just fly over and come to wherever you are. Come to Turner's Cross. No, all jokes aside, it's on TV. We had the game on Virgin on TV last week. Brilliant coverage, brilliant show.
Coverage, yeah.
Looking forward to seeing that from Turner's Cross. But again, if you're from Cork, don't watch it on TV. Come to Turner's Cross. It's much better in person, I promise.
Yeah. So we're playing 2 teams that are doing well, obviously last year's winners first in Dublin on Friday, and then following that with the current league leaders. We don't know what way it's going to be after the break, but so
the FAI Cup holders.
Do you know what? There's no easy fixture. That's what you
none at all.
That's the one thing you're seeing now. There's a big difference between last season and this season. There's no off night.
There's a massive difference. Last season, good thing or bad thing, we were expected to win every week. Yeah. And if we didn't win every week, it was a shock. This season, as it's shown 4 or 5 weeks in, it's not like that at all. It's very different. It's much more competitive and tight. As I was saying, that league table is going to be tight for the majority of the season, I'd imagine. So every game means a lot more this year than they did last year, realistically.
We kind of got carried away. We went on to the fixtures coming up, but we forgot to check about the academy. How did they get on last weekend?
Good. The men's under-20s didn't have a game this week, so they had the weekend off. But the women's 19s were on. They drew 0-0 away to Treaty United. Men's under-17s had a big win over Treaty United. Charlie Hanover got a hat-trick. David Dunn scored. Killian Murphy, Donal O'Connor, Cian Daly, Rory Fitzgerald and Jamie Ndewuba all on target there as well. The women's 17s had a 5-2 win over CK United. Ella McCarthy got 2. Amy McCarthy got 1. Lily Foskin and Kate Mulcahy also scoring. 15s won 5-0 away to Limerick. Oh. Remember them? Limerick FC, still in the underage leagues. Tristan O'Driscoll, Ryan Horan got 2. Dara Corcoran and Alex Wilson got 1. And then the 14s drew 0-0 up in Mayfield against Treaty. So, Treaty and Limerick both existing in the underage leagues.
Be interested to see that match if they were playing each other.
I know, yeah. I don't know if that happens actually. Don't really pay attention to anything outside of Cork.
No, but speaking of the academy, I suppose, we got a bit of sad news this week that Ben Dunnigan had to retire from football.
Yeah, so you may have seen that on our socials. So Ben was on the verge of a move to Hoffenheim. So when they were doing the medical tests at the end of January, he received a diagnosis of hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which has basically put an end to his football career, which is obviously very sad news. But as you can see from the reaction on social media, the Cork City family is very much behind Ben.
Yeah.
The club are offering to help in any way they can.
Very
More
tough,
than anything,
really.
it's tough on Ben, it's tough on the family, but he's doing well, he's in good spirits.
I mean, he has some great memories to take away. He had played, I think he even captained his country
Yeah,
underage
he scored in
level,
the
I think.
15s final at Turner's Cross last year as well.
Yeah, so like he had a fantastic youth career. I suppose the most important thing was his health, and
Absolutely, yeah.
And look, in many ways, it's great that it's been discovered now. Because I suppose over the years there's been people that wasn't discover things like this and stuff. So medicine is phenomenal that way, and I'm sure he might stay in football in some capacity. He'll have an interest in it, and it's no matter what we say, it's tough.
Yeah, yeah. And look, as I said, everyone wishes Ben the very best.
Speaking of going forward, another big event coming up this weekend. It's sold out though, but the one in Dublin isn't. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, 2 big events. So there's Friday and Sunday. So Friday is at the RDS in Dublin. Not sold out yet, so tickets are still available for that. From rebelarmyevents.com. It's the Italian 90, an evening with the greatest football team is the official titles. Majority of the Italian 90 squad are basically going to be there.
35 years on, nearly 35 years on.
Yeah, reminiscing on everything that went down then. And obviously a phenomenal time, I'm told, for Irish society. I wasn't even around at the time. But
to be fair,
it's basically just a big old trip down memory lane that people are very excited for. I know all the players are very excited for. And as you mentioned, the Opera House is sold out. So
when this country was in the top 8 teams in the world.
Yeah, unreal. Unreal.
In our first World Cup to get to the quarterfinals. So, fair play to the lads. Hopefully at some point we'll get back to that point again where this country excels. And with all, we're talking about youth football there with our own academy. There's some, I suppose, green shoots popping up at the moment. And who knows, in the next couple of years, with the right coaching, we might produce another great team.
Hopefully, yeah. With Jake O'Brien captaining it, hopefully.
Yeah.
Former Cork City man.
And listen, he's flying at the moment. He
still is, yeah. I feel like we're talking about him all the time. He's doing very well.
He's just a regular now, which is great to see.
Brilliant,
He's cemented his position, and that's all you want to see. You know
Absolutely,
what I mean? That a guy is doing really, really well.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Tickets went on sale for the Super Cup.
The Super Cup, ourselves and Celtic, tickets are going very well for that apparently. So, if you somehow have missed that news, it's Cork City versus Celtic in the first ever Cork Super Cup down at Super Value Park Equive on the 8th of July. Tickets are on sale, corksupercup.com. Stand tickets, terrace tickets, whatever you want. If you're a big City fan, want to be in the City atmosphere, the City end is where the City fans are going to be. So get on there and get your tickets.
Yeah, I've been kind of keeping an eye on their social media for it and stuff like that, and they're really trying to pitch it to the people from Scotland to come over as well. So
making Cork a destination, which is good as well, though.
Which is good for the city,
absolutely,
which is great, in profile and all of that as well, which is really good. And look, the big thing we said it last week, we get a chance to see Cork City playing in Parky Queeve. Who would have thought?
Exactly, and that's for me anyway. That's the main thing I'm taking away from this. That's going to be phenomenal, and the pride of seeing the Rebel Army down in Super Value Park Equive is going to be brilliant. So
someone
can't
said
wait.
that to you 20 years ago before they built a new stadium down there. Before the Irish soccer team and the rugby team were allowed into Crow Park when they rebuilt the Aviva, they would have said, "Would you go away with that?" It was never on the agenda.
If someone said it to you 5 years ago, you'd laugh at them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's phenomenal how much progress there's been on that. A big shout out to Cork GAA, and Kevin O'Donovan,
Kevin in particular, who's kind of really keen on getting more sport in there. So I think it's
brilliant to see.
Great opportunity for I suppose fans to see how we compared against the Scottish Premier Division probably champions, probably even
realistically, yeah.
And maybe some big names like Casper Schmeichel might be down there on the day.
Celtic are coming, the first team are coming,
So
it's hopefully everyone seems to be forgetting there's a trophy at stake here as well, whatever about playing at Park Equive. You could be lifting the Super Cup at Park Equive.
Yeah, Super Value Park Equive.
Super Cup, Super Value Park Equive. There's a tongue twister.
I know why they call it Super Value Cup. It's very surprising to call it the Super Value Cup.
I know, tickets are Super Value as well. corksupercup.com.
Don't be mixing up with the Super Cup with the winners of the Champions League and the Europa League.
No, the Super Cup is obviously much more prestigious trophy, so the pride when we win that will be...
Although Park Equive, you never know, in the future might host something like that. You never know.
Imagine it. Imagine that.
filling the other two sides there. Now we won't be telling the Cork GA yet like what to do, but like
we won't take over now just yet. But we'll wait till we get down there for a match and then we'll start. Yeah.
Do you know what you could do now?
No, yeah. That would look lovely with a Cork City crest on.
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
Fan zone outside. Yeah. There's and that's the great thing about it. There's loads of space outside the stadium.
There is,
as well.
yeah.
Do you know, like with the marina and all.
Do you know what? I'm for some reason I'm very rarely down the marina, like down that end.
Yeah.
Even when I went to the launch in Parky Queeve last week, I'd say that was my 3rd, 4th time ever at Parky Queeve. And as you said, the space outside, I didn't realise there was so much space. Like there's so much you could do down there.
Yeah, there's way more space there than what Diviva has. Or Crow Park.
Around it? Oh, absolutely.
They don't have much space because where they built theirs is in the middle of housing estates.
Yeah,
like
we're on the waterfront. Parky Queeve's on the waterfront. Like it's
Oh, it's lovely, like. You know, and there's this kind of little park area where there's a kind of a coffee thing and stuff like
yeah.
And kind of
it's a phenomenal setup down there.
There's loads of space. So I'd imagine there'll be a lot of kind of hype around on the day, and there'll be a bit of fun there and stuff like that as well. So it'll be definitely something to look forward to. But look, that's a bit off yet. That's another 3 to 4 months. Anyway.
Yeah, well, we were saying that about the off season, and then that crept up on us as well. So it'll be here before we realise it. But
well, that's true.
We look forward to it anyway.
I know we look forward to it because anything like that with the club, like we look forward to it. But
absolutely.
I suppose first up we have, don't forget, Shells Away. So can the fans buy tickets for that one?
Tickets are on sale. Yeah, they're up on our social media. So you find them on social media. They're in the WhatsApp channel. If you're not in our WhatsApp channel, actually go to ccfc.ie/WhatsApp and you can join that. It's essentially a broadcast channel where you'll just get notification with news, links, whatever it is. So. Join that if you haven't already, and if you are going to Talca Park, get your tickets online in advance. It's just easier for everyone. And they're available now, as I said. You can grab them and we'll see you there.
And then of course the women are playing on Saturday then as well, so back in Turner's Cross. So it's obviously a lot easier for people to get to on Saturday afternoon. You might be looking for a day out.
Yeah, if you're not going to Talca Park and you want to go somewhere much nicer than Talca Park, Turner's Cross is available on Saturday. So save Turner's Cross, as they say. Save Talca Park, all that crack. But yeah, 5 o'clock Saturday, Cork City FC against Sligo Rovers. The home opener for the season. So
yeah,
that'll be a good one.
I had a quick look while ago at the fantasy football and the Rebel Army League.
I haven't even opened that since week 1. I don't want to know where I am, to be honest.
Well, there's not much between us. I don't know, we copying each other or what. Like,
have you been updating your team?
I think I forgot last week.
Yeah, well, I haven't touched it since day 1, so that's a bad sign for you if there's not much in it for
I did it the second week maybe. And then I forgot about it.
Oh God.
Yeah, you're in 44th position in our league and I'm in 40th.
Wait, so I've gone up?
So yeah, we've gone up. The other people definitely must have stopped completely.
I think I've Shawnee Maguire and Carl O'Sullivan in my team and neither of them have played. Like
so, and so you have. Let me go down here and have a look. You have 244 points. I have 248 points, and the leader is Paul O'Donovan with 296.
Stop! Is Paul winning?
Yeah, 296 he has. And Mick Ring's sister Eileen is second with 294.
I'll be honest now, this is a direct call out for anyone that I'm ahead of in that league. I haven't touched my team since week 1. So if you haven't either, fair enough. But if you're actually trying, I'll just give up. Like, how am I ahead of you?
Yeah, maybe they packed it in as well. But look, all these things take time before you kind of get used to doing it. And do you know what? It's like habit. You forget to update your teams. And
I feel like Paul being number 1, that's actually like cheating. Like, he's a video analyst, so he's watching all the teams and watching all the players. So like, he has an unfair advantage. I can't believe that.
Are players and managers allowed to do that? Is that
I presume so, yeah. No, it's fantasy football. The most they'll win is like a free jersey or something. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, no, Paul, that's a disgrace. Paul has an unfair advantage now. That's unfair, Paul. We'll have to kick you out of the league.
So
what was I, 44th, you said? I'll kick the top 43 out of the league.
Look, you're on the top half of the table anyway.
Yes, I'll take
top
that.
Half, we'll take that. So we get a lot of people entering it. We'll be pushed down.
Oh, stop! Yeah. Well, I'll be pushed. I'm telling you now. It's my mission to finish bottom of that league.
I think someone is doing. There's somebody there where they think about a third of your points. So I'd say maybe they have.
He might have 3 players in his team. Like maybe forgot to finish the team.
Yeah, or they pick somebody like all bench players from other clubs or something.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting type of thing to do.
Interesting strategy. Yeah.
Bottom.
Fair play to you.
Yeah. But so look, it's another novel thing that was introduced to the league this year. And I saw that thing that you were talking about has been launched as well, that new TV show.
We spoke about that ages ago,
yeah.
actually. Yeah. Looks great. It's going to be launching very soon.
I see the AFI kind of publicising it last week with RT.
Yeah, it's a joint thing between the two of them. And as I said, we'll feature. I don't think I spoke too much about what we've done with it. But
closest time we'll know.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it more when it's out anyway. But there is one or two cool segments with Cork City players. So
pretty good.
Excited to see that. I was there when they were being done. So looking forward to seeing how they turn out.
Yeah, no, all these little bits are brilliant because it just... I suppose it fills in the gaps when we have no matches and stuff like that as well for the fans to kind of get, I suppose keep the momentum going of the hype and
it's all we ever wanted really was this extra League of Ireland content, and we're getting loads of it now to the point where everywhere you look there's something related to the League of Ireland, and that's fantastic. Like there's people asking me questions like straight out been asked like why is there so much promotion? It's everywhere. Like I have no interest in football and I'm seeing billboards, TV ads, radio ads, and I'm just like, this is exactly what we've always wanted. Like, so it's brilliant for the league.
This is what every other big league around the place gets. So
this is our time, as the League of Ireland accounts are saying. That's sort of the catchphrase.
Be interested to see if there's any League of Ireland player get called up to him or squad for the national.
Well, if you believe the reports, there's 2 or 3 in the squad, I think,
and potentially one former Cork City player, I think, is there.
Apparently so, yeah.
So let's see what happens.
Current Shamrock player.
Yeah, so let's see what happens. But no, the pressure is probably on them. But I think they'll probably name a bigger squad and then reduce.
Yeah, provisional squad normally is the way they do. I think a 40-man squad, then whittle down to 23.
But I think, you know what, just to get them training anyway.
That's fine, yeah.
I think we need a couple of players just to kind of...
Have to start somewhere.
And then it encourages the other lads.
Absolutely, yeah. You see League of Ireland players getting called in and included, and it lends a little bit more credibility to what we're doing here. Yeah. Which is, again, for the benefit of everyone. So
I was laughing. I only heard there recently when they were talking about it, they were saying, oh yeah, this is what happened with Liam Scales and stuff like that. He didn't get a call up until he went to Celtic. And I was saying, you don't know, it happened before that too, because Shawnee got a call up the minute he went off to Preston.
The magic plane, as it's always spoken
about. So
or the magic Stena Line's boat, as I know a lot of them get the ferry, but there's,
put them in now, so...
if they're good enough, the day they fly to England, that they've been good enough for a couple of weeks, a couple of months playing the League of Ireland. That's the way I would have always said.
Just because they sign a contract with someone doesn't mean that they're not good enough already.
Yeah. But look, it shows that we've been taken seriously now as a league, which is, again, all we've ever wanted. So we're in a good point now, and the more we all continue what we're doing on the pitch, off the pitch, as a fan base, the more this will happen.
Well, you never know. He might be at Talca Park on Friday night having a look at some of our lads.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll put in a good word.
Well, fingers crossed our lads put in a good performance, and the women then on Saturday as well. And
absolutely, yeah.
And we come back next week after St. Patrick's Day with some positive news.
Forgot it was St. Patrick's Day Monday, actually. That's tell you how busy we are at the minute.
We're not in the parade, are we?
Not that I know of. Never say never.
You never know.
Where's that Corky suit?
You can wear it.
No bother. Something we haven't mentioned in a while. If you're listening on Spotify or wherever you're listening, leave us a rating, because we've been getting great feedback, to be fair, the last couple of weeks. People have been enjoying it, so it's all well and good saying it to us, but leave us a rating as well so other people know.
Yeah, it's funny because we haven't had as many guests maybe as last season, but we've had loads to talk about, so just as well we probably didn't have a guest because we'd be here forever.
I know, yeah, we'd be here all day. Crown Centre would be trying to, they'd all be going home, they'd be kicking us out.
Yeah. We did announce our new partnership with them as well, actually.
We did, and we will have probably Porrig or someone from the Crown Centre in over the next couple of weeks to talk about what we'll be doing for the year. But brilliant to see that partnership extended as well, because it's been very beneficial for both, and both of us are really happy. So great to see that done.
Great organisation. They're doing great things for the community here as well. So
big City fans, all of them as well.
Yeah. So enjoy the matches at the weekend and enjoy St. Patrick's weekend. Maybe
we'll see you at Turner's Cross on Saturday.
Yeah, see you then.